Hey everybody, so today I am here to give you guys a how to use video on the Spectra Synergy Gold double electric breast pump. So first I'm going to walk you through the things that will come with your breast pump, and then we'll work on assembling, and then finally walk you through the modes, features, some tips about finding a setting and stuff like that. So let's just go ahead and get started. As you can see, I have everything laid out here that will come with the pump. So you obviously have the pump itself. I'll give you an up close of that here in a second. You also have your wall adapter over here. This pump does not have a rechargeable battery, so it is wall adapter only. And then there is tubing, 2 sets, and they have little adapters here on the end, as you can see. You also have 2 different flange sizes. So you have the 24 millimeter and the 28 millimeter. That's what comes with the pump. And I have each size on a different bottle. You also get 2 duckbill valves, the 2 bottles as they're shown here. You also get 2 nipples, caps, and also the little sealers in here as well. So there's a look at those. And then you also, of course, get 2 backflow protectors. These are the devices that make it so it is a closed system pump, meaning no milk will get back to your motor over here. And then of course you do have the owner's manual, which I have already spilled things on. So that is a look at everything that comes with your pump. And now let's just go ahead into setting up your pump parts and getting started. Alright, so as far as assembly goes, Spectra pumps are pretty straightforward. These parts are the same as their other pumps as well. So if you already have Spectra parts, this is going to be super familiar to you. It's really straightforward. So you do have a 1-piece flange and connector right here. This is what we'll start with. This is the 24 millimeter, and like I said, it does come with 28. Spectra also offers other sizes, and there's additional stuff online that I will link down below for you guys. But obviously choose whatever flange works best for you and your size. You'll take that, turn it over, you'll take your duckbill valve right here, and you're going to go ahead and press it up in here until it's nice and flush, just like that. You take your bottle, you screw that on. And there are other bottles that fit the connectors, but just make sure that it's a good fit. You can't rock it back and forth. It's not going to come off or pop off while you're pumping. Just make sure you do that no matter what bottle you're using. So that is everything as far as your flange and bottle setup goes. And then as far as the backflow protector, it's pretty straightforward too. There's 2 different sizes, if you can tell right here in my hand. So this is the smaller side, bigger, and this is the membrane. So I find it easiest just to take the smaller end, put that on top of the membrane. You're going to pull the lip of the membrane over top of the hard piece of plastic, and then take this and gently push it into the large piece, just like that. So you have a complete backflow protector right there. And then one side of this, you can see right here with this angle, one side is thicker, one side is thinner. So this is what will go into the back of your flange right here. So you can see there's this little spot right here. You give this a little twist, just like that. And then you take your tubing over here and you just gently push this on. And I like to do rotating motions, that way it's not too hard on anything. And just make sure that everything is nice and flush together, just like that. And then you will take the end of this tubing that should have this little adapter piece on here to go inside your pump, and you are going to put it right here inside the tubing port. So just like that. You can pick whatever side if you're single pumping. And if you were double pumping, you would just do this all over again, and then you would place your other tubing inside the other hole. Now, normally with most breast pumps, there's some kind of closure to cover this hole. However, with this Spectra Synergy Gold pump, the whole point of this pump is the fact that it has dual motors in it, meaning it has a motor for each breast. So if you are single pumping, you don't have to worry about covering this hole because you individually turn the motors on. So there's no air leaks or anything like that if you're only using one side. And obviously if you're double pumping, both of them will be plugged in. So either way, it's all good to go just like that. And then you're going to want to obviously get your wall adapter and plug in your pump. And on the back of here is where you'll do that. Just take your wall adapter, and you can see it kind of greets you with a little chime. and then you are ready to start pumping. So now we can go over some of the settings and features and things like that. All right, so I zoomed you guys in a bit, and now we're just gonna go over buttons and settings and all that good stuff. So all your buttons are right here on this touch screen. We have the power button. This is expression and massage button, meaning you can go in between those modes as you would like. This is the night light button, right side, left side, the cycle button. Whoop, I accidentally turned it on. The left and right turns on the individual motors for those sides. The cycle button is going to increase or decrease your frequency. This is going to switch in between modes. They call it massage and expression. So basically what that is that massage mode, or you might hear it called stimulation mode, that goes really fast. It is supposed to stimulate your breast and get the milk flowing, and then you're supposed to go over into expression where it will slow down and take out the supply that's there. However, there's no wrong way to pump. The way that it feels best for you is the best way to do it. So there are people who stay in massage or stimulation mode. There's people who like expression mode more. We'll go all over that here in a second. But basically this button right here is just a flip-flop between those two modes. Obviously, the power button is self-explanatory, and then you do have the nightlight button. The nightlight is actually right back here in the handle, and there is 3 different lights, and then it fades out. And like I said, these are to increase and decrease the suction on either side. So as far as other things you should know, it does have a memory function, meaning when you turn it on, it'll remember your levels of the last session and just immediately apply those. So you'll either want to turn down your settings or just adjust them before you put your flange to your breast, because where you leave off on a session might not be where you pick up. So just be aware of that. And also just another little tidbit, in case you don't like the different sounds and chimes that it makes, you can hold this button right here for 3 seconds, and you'll see it pop up on the screen that it is now muted. So that symbol right there means that I can tap all over here and it's not going to make any noises. And you can unmute it as well. So you just hold that same button and it'll go away, and now it will make noise. So let's just move on to the actual settings of everything. So to start off, the power button right here is just going to power the pump on. It's not going to do anything or start anything. That's what the L and the R button are for. Those are going to individually turn on the motors and allow us to start adjusting settings. So right now I'm going to show you single pumping, but afterwards I will also go over really quickly double pumping. It's the same thing, it just is a little bit different, obviously, with managing the buttons. And all of this might sound a little tricky, but honestly, after you get used to this pump and use it a handful of times, it's nothing overly complicated. So this symbol over here actually means massage mode. So this will be the faster one. And then if I hit this button again, this symbol over here means expression. Now with the Spectra pumps, they do not have a timer for massage or expression like some pumps do. That is something you get to control entirely yourself. So if you would like to start off, and it may be helpful to get a letdown, I would recommend the massage mode. Like I said, it'll be a faster frequency. So you can go ahead and turn on both sides or one side that you're using. And like I said, it's picking up the memory of where I left off in this setting. So I was last at a suction 3. There is 5 different vacuums. So this is the highest it goes. It's at the highest frequency and the highest suction right now. And as you can see, I don't have it attached to anything, so this is probably a little bit louder than if it would be attached to your actual breast. So you can obviously adjust this as you would like for the suction, and then the cycle button here will also adjust the frequency. So that's how you adjust those. And if you would like, after the milk is flowing, if you would like to switch into expression mode, you just hit this button. And as you can see, it last remembered where I had it. Again, same thing with this. You're just adjusting with your toggle on whatever side you're using. That will control your suction. And then if you would like less or more frequency, you adjust it with the cycle button here in the middle. Now, every person is different. Everybody likes something different when it comes to pumping. For myself personally, I require a higher frequency than most people do. So for that reason, I find it helpful with Spectra pumps if I just stay in stimulation mode, and I have found settings that work with that. So like I said, there's no wrong way to pump here. Normally with a pump, you use the stimulation mode and then you go into expression. But if that's not working for you and you empty completely in stimulation mode, there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to show you my settings. What I like is, like I said, to stay in massage mode, which is this symbol over here. And I will turn on the left side again. And I typically start with a vacuum of 3 in a cycle that is all the way to 5. And once I get stimulated and my milk is flowing, then I actually decrease my frequency down to 3 and I increase my vacuum to 5. Those are the settings that I prefer. That's what helped me empty with this pump. I tried expression, just wasn't for me, and you can play around as well. Finding the setting that's right for you, you want to toe the line of comfortable but expressing milk. So if something is not stimulating you enough, you are not going to empty and it's not going to do anything for you. However, you don't want to just crank the suction up and try and do it that way, because that can be super painful and also not empty you as well. When you first get started pumping, it may be uncomfortable, especially if you're newly postpartum. However, that should get better with time and pumping should never be painful. So it's always my recommendation to start with the vacuum low, your frequency high, and slowly change those. So if you find that highest setting of frequency and the lowest setting of vacuum doesn't work, increase your vacuum by 1 and decrease your frequency by 1, and just kind of play with that and see how it goes. Much better to start off that way than having too much suction that can cause nipple trauma. So I'm going to show you really quickly how to do that with double pumping. So it's basically the same concept. I am going to plug something in just so it's not super noisy. Okay, so now you can see I have both tubes plugged in and ready to go. Again, we're going to hit the power button and we can turn on the left side and the right side. So as you can see, they're at completely 2 different vacuums, which is one of the perks of this breast pump. You can do 2 different vacuums. However, you cannot do 2 different cycle rates. So whatever you choose the cycle rate to be, it'll apply that to both breasts. You're only individually controlling the suction level. So if I want this to come down and be 1 and I want to increase this to 5, you can also just make them the same as well. If you have breasts that don't need 2 different settings and you're double pumping, like myself, I personally don't need 2 different settings for each one. I just applied the same settings on both sides. And like I said, you can't individually adjust the cycle rate, so that'll already be the same for you. You don't have to mess around with that as far as making sure each side is the same. But with the vacuum level, you can just use the toggle on either side and adjust them as you would like. Same goes for expression mode as well. Same thing here. The cycle rate will apply to both sides with that button right there, and then you can adjust this as you see fit. Spectra has a ton of different settings here for you that is offered. So like I said, I would start with the vacuum low, like this, and just slowly adjust. And you can just go ahead and play with that. Or if you've already used Spectra pumps and you have settings that you've previously liked before, I think you'll have no problem finding something that works here for you as well, because I find them to be relatively the same settings. And then if one side gets finished before the other, you can obviously just turn that side off and continue pumping on the other side. If you need to start up again, turn off the other side. You can turn off both and just be done. You know, that's basically everything. So it looks really complicated. It might even sound a bit complicated, but the more you use it, I promise, the easier it gets. But yeah, that is everything for this video on how to use your Spectra Synergy Gold breast pump. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching.